Hello everyone. So today you will notice that we are doing a stock market stream. So if you go up in the top right corner right now, you can click on the eye icon. That will pull out the poll so that you can vote in next week's fluctuation. So right now we are looking at the contestants page showing the current standings, but those are about to change. So what we're going to do is add in the new percentages here. So if we look at the percentage for red, red actually received a 20% of the vote. Apparently I don't have numlock on. 20% of the vote. Yellow received a 0% of the vote. Green received a 0% of the vote. Blue received a 20% of the vote. And 12 received a whopping 60% of the vote. So, if we go to the market factor, we need a random number between 0 and 40. And we can see what that number is. That number is 17, which is a pretty good day. It's close to average, but it's still pretty good. And it's also fairly good due to the fact that red and blue received a 20, meaning that they're not moving too much. But we do see that yellow has gone down, green has gone down, and for the first time in a while, red is not the worst stock on the market, which is actually quite interesting. So let's click new market here. We're going to go zero this out. Then we'll grab these values and we will paste them into the market trends numerically. There we go. And you can see that green has overtaken red, or I should say undertaken red as the lowest value, which does raise the question of whether green is now a good stock to support. That may be something that I would consider. So we can go back to the scoreboard and check out how things are going. So we can see that it does look like there are a couple people who may be switched around a little bit. So let's go organize that. And I do think we have a new leader on the board due to someone's significant support in the 12 stock. So we can see that Dan and Khalil have now jumped up to first and second, pushing myself and James down to third and fourth. Now Thomas is on somewhat of a decline, but the market in general has gone up and is almost back to its original point, which is fairly interesting. But everybody is above that 100,000. I believe that's the same as last week. So that's very nice to see. And I think that I've reached a point where I think we need to update the contestants' trends off stream. So I will be posting a picture of that to the Facebook page later today, and you'll be able to check that out. So if we look at how things are going right now, I think that it may be time to sell out my investments in some case. So if we look at the market trends, red has gone up a little bit. Where did I buy in red? I'm not sure when I bought in. I think I bought in relatively early on. But red isn't receiving too much support. I'm worried that if I don't support red, it may drop down to 0, and that could become problematic when people consider buying in. But I think that the minimum it will be allowed to get is 1. If it got there, that would be insane. But we'll see how it goes when it gets there. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell out of maybe what I can do is I can split half of it because red and green are fairly close. I'll take 300 red out and put them into green and see what I can get with that. So if we look, red currently has a value of 49. So if we get 300 times 49, that is 14,700. If I divide that by 43, then that gives me 341. And I think there was 8 here, but I don't think. Yeah, no, I won't. I won't try and even that out. So what I'm going to do is this is going to drop down to. So just remember, just keep this number in your head because we should get back to there. So we're going to drop this down to 308, and then green is going to go up to 341, and then if we, I believe if we subtract this, so we're going to subtract 341 minus 341 times 43, and that means that 37 are now in the balance. But I do have 10 sitting in my balance, so maybe I should just get one more, which would leave me with 30, would just leave me with 3 in my balance. So if I get one more, so that's going to be 342, then I'm going to have 3 in my balance, and we should be back to where I was. I believe that's where I was. So if we, I'm actually going to go back and just check to see what it was at. So I was at 34. So yeah, I should have 4 here. Yeah. So 308, 342, 4. There we go. So now I'm back to my original value. I have some support in green, and I still have some support in red, but I think that green has a higher support rate when it needs support. So I think that green is going to be a good investment because it should skyrocket. I can resell and then maybe go back to my investment in red in hopes that it will one day come back to a normal price. So I think that's where we're going to leave it for the stock market. Once again, if you are participating in the stock market, then feel free to let me know if you want to make any exchanges for your investments, and we can have that updated on the next stream. I can probably do that on the Saturday streams, like right at the start, so that's not a big problem. Just let me know. If you are looking to get involved in the stock market, I do require that you come on the stream at some point in time. So if you are interested in that and you have a topic you think you can talk about, feel free to email me. My email is the same as my YouTube channel name, but at gmail.com. Or you can just use YouTube messages. That works as well. I'm in the works talking with a few people about coming on as guests, so I will keep you guys updated as I get more information on that. But for now, we're just going to go talk about Easteria, and I will update the contestants' trends and try and post a picture of that later today. I just don't want to drag out the stream. So let me switch the screen over to Easteria so that you can see the new updates. So if we start the game up here, then I don't know if I have my sound on. I do. So if we start the game, right now I just have it hard-coded so that you start out here with a fishing rod in your hand. That's just kind of for the purposes of being convenient for bug testing. But as I mentioned, we are working on the, well, I am working on the fishing update. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to wait until we can see a fish in the water. And as I mentioned, I was originally thinking about doing somewhat of an Animal Crossing style fishing, where there's these black shadows in the water that kind of give you an idea of where the fish is. But what I decided upon is the fact that I wanted to be a little bit more realistic with actual fishing. So because you can't always see the fish, that's the same in the game. You could technically leave your line in the water and there'd be a chance that a fish could find it and bite it. But there's also the aspect of sight fishing. So you can scan the area and look for signs of a fish. So that's what we're doing right now. Now you can actually scare the fish away. I'm looking. Oh, that might just be a pixel that I left on the screen there. That's a little weird. because if I sprint by that, it's not a fish. So yeah, so I think there was a problem with my blank screen had a black dot on it, and I kept using the blank version of it over and over again as a starter piece for the artwork here. So that black dot propagated onto a lot of different regions. Um, so yeah, we're just looking for any little sign of a fish. And there's a lot of different things that a fish can do. A fish could possibly make a splash in the water. They could have their tail out of the water. Yeah, we'll stay out of the fishing village just because we don't want it to get too loud. And they can actually eat each other. It was an interesting reason for that being a possibility because I was having a problem with too many fish being loaded into one area, and it would actually slow the game down. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to incorporate aspects where fish could despawn. So one of the ways that that can happen is that you can actually spook the fish by either sprinting too close to it or swimming over top of it. So that is ways that the fish can despawn because you actually scared it away. But the fish can actually also eat each other. So if there is a densely populated area of fish, then those fish will have a chance if they run into each other. They might eat each other. So the way that that works is that the bigger fish will eat the smaller fish, or the more aggressive fish will eat the same size fish. So if you had something like I don't know that this is necessarily true to nature, but it works out. There's actually a splash up here. You can see that means there's a fish in this area right here. I can see that it's not where I was talking about on the screen. So you may have seen it right there. But what I was saying was that there are some fish that are more aggressive than others. They wouldn't necessarily meet each other in that often of situations in real life. But if you in the game, there are currently three type of fish. There are redfish, snook, and bass. And so what I've done is the river fish, the redfish, and the snook are labeled as more aggressive than the bass, which is relatively true in terms of how they act in actual nature. But because bass are more freshwater and redfish and snook are more saltwater and brackish water fish, they don't interact as much. There are some bass that get into the river systems, so it is possible. But in this game, you don't necessarily see what the fish is exactly until you catch it. There are signs that you have a certain fish in front of you because the fish behave differently in the water. But in this game, the more aggressive fish, the redfish and the snook, can eat the bass if they are the same size, and that's the tiebreaker. So if you have a redfish and a redfish that are the same size, they will not eat each other. That's just like, how would that happen in real life? It wouldn't. So what we're going to do is there should be a fish over here somewhere. The game is a little bit choppy. I think it's due to the fact that I'm streaming. But perhaps we can try to catch the fish. That actually kind of helped me out because it made the casting a lot easier. When the game is running full speed, the casting is relatively fast-paced. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to cast into the water here. Alright. And you can see that was a fairly poor cast. What I'm hoping is that there's still the fish here in this general area. They can move around a little bit, so that's something we have to wonder about. But I'm just going to keep trying until I can get it into the middle of this area right here. I think that was a good cast. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to chill out and then we'll see if we can catch a fish. But this is generally what's going to be the update. So right now, all I need to do is the actual artwork. So I need to skin the items for the actual fish. And I'm not just going to have like a redfish and a snook and a bass. So there will be sizes. So if you catch a larger fish, then you will have a larger item and that will sell for more money. You could I don't know, use it for more meat or something. I don't know what the implications are going to be later on in the game. But as of right now, there are 5 sizes of fish, and so the snook and well, actually, all 3 fish can be all 5 sizes. They are more likely to spawn as very small fish, but as they eat each other, they can actually gain size. So it scales with what next size you need to reach. Um, so if you are a size 1 fish, then you only need to eat, I believe, 2 fish to get to size 2. I think it's still 2 for size for for size 2 to size 3, but then for size 3 to size 4 you need 4 fish, and then size 4 to size 5, I believe it's 8. I may have that backwards. It may be 2, 4, 8, 16. I think that's actually how it is. So in a circumstance where there's a lot of fish densely packed together, they will be more likely to eat each other. So there's actually a better chance that there's going to be larger fish there, which is relatively true in nature. So if you have a large pack of fish, then there's a better chance that there will be a large fish there as well. So because they tend to hang out with the smaller fish because that is their food source. So I'm actually abusing the system a little bit by fishing here. Now the reason that I'm saying that is because so we actually have a fish on the line. The reason that I'm saying that is because this is actually a very small section that is stuck by the bridge. Alright, so we're trying to get this fish. If I moved, oh, he's getting away. So the way that you reel in is by spamming the space bar. And so what I was saying was that this is a very small area because the end of the chunk is like right above this bridge. So man, he does not want to come in here. Oh, so the fish actually bit the line off. The way that this works is that what was I going to say? So the way that you catch a fish is you have to actually get it all the way to the shore. So you could be all the way over here reeling the fish in, and as soon as it gets to the shore, you may actually you will catch the fish. What I'm planning to implement is that when you catch the fish, the fish item will appear on the ground on the shore where it was beached. I think that's a little bit more realistic as opposed to you being like 3 miles away and bring it to the land and then you just have it in your inventory. But as of right now, for bug testing purposes, since I don't have the skins all done art-wise. Oh, so that one bit off as well. Right now, you only get rope in your inventory. I just needed a placeholder. So that is the item that you get right now, and that's the indicator that you have caught a fish. But when the update comes out, I will have the artwork done. So that's not anything that you guys will necessarily have to play. Alright, so there's a fish down here. Alright, so I'm just going to chill out and try and catch a fish here for you guys, just to show the process. It may be problematic that I'm on this bridge, but I don't think that is the case. I believe I've caught fish on the bridge before, so. But what I like about this is, like I said, you don't necessarily know where the fish is exactly. You can just get in the general area, and then you get that real aspect of actually having to wait to see if the fish bites. But you can be relatively quick on the draw with your sight fishing and possibly hit it in the head. So if you are good with your cast and you are quick on the draw with the sight fishing, you can catch it while it is still visible, and you can actually hit it in the head. When it bites in, you will get that splashing animation, and the line will actually move with the fish. Alright, so there's a fish up here for sure. That might become problematic. I think that's actually outside of that area. So I'm going to go up here and apparently poorly cast. completely. Then overshoot. And then we need to get it in the middle. That one's not that bad. There we go. Oh, and I hit it in the head. Let's go. Alright, I think I actually caught that one. So if we check my inventory, you will see that there is a piece of rope there, which means that I caught a fish. So that's basically the whole update. There's certain fish in certain areas. Like I said, bass are more freshwater fish, whereas redfish and snook tend to be more river fish. And I would imagine at some point in the game there will be an ocean, so you may have the possibility of catching like shark or trying to think of like I think like snapper. That might be a little bit too cliche with the Animal Crossing, but yeah. So that's where we're at, and I plan on making the update relatively soon. Like I said, it's just a matter of making the artwork and also implementing the aspect where the fish will appear on the shore where you catch stuff. So right now I'm just gonna go check out the pond to see if there's any signs, because the pond actually has an interesting aspect to it. It's relatively small, and I believe two fish can spawn in it at a time. So there is a situation where you could have a very large fish sitting in this pond, and it would be at your disposal. But it is kind of menacing when the size 5 fish have the random chance of showing their shadow, because it's about the same size as the character, so it's pretty large. So I'm having fun with this. I'm pretty happy with the actual animation and everything, and you can see there's a little fish up there in the corner. So hopefully they'll come down and check out this line. But let me see. I don't have the chat up, but there doesn't seem to be any questions. If you guys are interested in checking out the game, keep your eye on the Facebook page. I'll be posting a link to the update whenever it comes out. And also, when I stream over the weekend, it will be in the description of the video, so you can check it out there. But yeah, I'm just gonna try and catch this last fish, and then we're gonna sign off. So I will say, so you can see I have a fishing level of 1 right now. That means that I'm actually a little bit better at casting. So you can see the little shadow there. That's the little fish, and there's actually 2 in the pond right now. So we're hoping that that fish will come over and check out this line. The benefit of this pond is that there's not that much room to run. Oh, there we go. So I think he was right on the shoreline, and we did catch him. You can see that there are 2 rope here in the inventory. So that is gonna be the stream. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'm gonna be signing off. But I will be streaming at some point over the weekend, and I do have tomorrow off, other than meeting with my lab a little bit. So I should be able to get the update done on this as well. So thank you guys for watching. I'm going to be signing off, but until the weekend, goodbye.